What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother Jeremy with the $20 donation via the Cash App. He says, from Bama 80, stay up, homie. Salute to you, brother, for showing love. A long-time subscriber to the platform. Thank you for showing love. Anybody else that want to show love, if you choose to, you could do so in the link in the pinned comment in the comment section below, or in the link scrolling across the bottom of the screen in the thumbnail. Salute to you guys for showing love if you choose to. So Michael Jordan spoke on a subject matter that has long been a problem with the modern NBA. Okay? Another segment of Michael Jordan's interview with Mike Tirico aired yesterday evening. And of course, as we all know, the NBA has returned to NBC, and Michael Jordan has been featured prominently because of his association with the NBA or NBC in the 1990s. So look, I'm not surprised by this, obviously. I mean, we've heard bits and pieces from other stars about how Michael felt about load management. And in actuality, Michael Jordan spoke on what he predicted would become a problem with load management 20 years ago. He predicted that rising salaries, coupled with the increasing protection of players, and also, when I say protection of players, I mean from doctors and organizations, and also giving players money based off of potential rather than results would lead to a reduction in performance and effort and play. And that's exactly what happened. Michael Jordan predicted that this was going to become a problem back in 2005, I think it was, 2004, 2005. So look, man, he talked about how he always felt an obligation to go out there and play, even for the people in the back row, even for the people that, you know, saying may not have been the richest, but have spent a good deal to get their tickets because they weren't as blessed economically. And also because he said, you know, competitively, since those people spent a lot to get their tickets, they felt like Jordan should have to go out there and perform at a level which, I guess, matched the media hype. So he felt perhaps even more of an obligation to shut that guy up as an entertainer. And I'm glad that he used that term entertainer, because that's what these athletes are. They are out there to be entertainers. They're out there to entertain the crowd. And ever since, you know, I'd say the guy that they promote, who will remain nameless in this video, ever since they put that guy out there to be the face, you've seen this growing elitism fester in the culture of basketball players. You've even seen this increased disdain that players have for regular fans. It's there. It's there. This guy, who I'm not going to name, this the same dude that bucked at a white lady, and everybody laughed about it. Now imagine if Russell Westbrook did that. Imagine if Giannis did that. You know, only a jerk would do that. Only an entitled jerk. But yeah, that guy, you know, the guy in Los Angeles, with the Clippers, they're the main culprits when it comes to load management. So of course he's talking especially about those guys, but there are others. And no matter what the NBA does, they've gone as far as even penalize these guys, to the point where if you play in less than 65 games, you're not going to be eligible for certain awards. But yet we're still seeing players miss games because of a thigh or a leg contusion, which is a bruise, and a sprained finger. I mean, to me, I know it sounds kind of harsh, like to some of my subscribers. They're like, "Well, man, well, y'all guys are no, man. I just grew up around. I grew up watching players who did everything they could to go out there and play. Like Michael Jordan told about a story about hell. It might have been the second game of his career. He sprained his ankle. He said one of his teammates said, "Yeah, man, come sit beside me, man. Just rest." He's like, "Hell no, I'm out here to compete. I want to go out here to compete." And that's the thing I always remember about Michael Jordan, man. You never watching the Chicago Bulls. There were little scares that sometimes happen with Jordan, like if a guy that is as acrobatic and leaps as much as he does, when especially in his prime, draws as much physicality from defenses as much as he did, right, for much of his career. There were times he got hurt. But if he got up and he was walking around, or if he could dribble basketball, you knew he was going to play. I remember when he came back in 95, 96, and he dislocated his finger. I think he was going for a steal. And he dislocated his finger popped right out of place. The trainer, I think Tim Grover, came over, popped his finger back in place. I'm pretty sure it hurt. He taped his fingers together. He saw if he could maintain a dribble. He could. He stayed in the game. Today's NBA, he's asked for to play for a week, maybe 2 weeks. They baby these players, man. And I see some dude talk about on social media or X. Oh man, that was a slower pace league. Today these guys, man, I want to hear that mess, man. They're not trying to hear them excuses, man. That's the problem. All y'all do is have excuses just nowadays. A bunch of excuses. The 1960s was the fastest pace era in NBA history, and they played defense, and they played 40 minutes a night. Y'all just ain't built the same, period. That's what it is. A lot of y'all are entitled and soft and make excuses, period. That's all it is to it. You want handouts, but don't want to earn anything on merit, period. That's all it is to it. Nobody want to hear that mess, man. Guys making $50 million a year and can barely play 60 games a year. Twenty-five years ago, the average All-Star played 77 games a year, meaning that they only missed 5 games. By 2010, that has slipped to 72 games a year, firmly entrenched into the era of you-know-who. By 2020, that has slipped to 65 games a year. 65 games per year for an All-Star, meaning that they now miss on average 17 games a year. And that's just the latest numbers. It could be lower than that now. So we got the average All-Star only averaging 60, 65 games a year. Like Michael Jordan mentioned, that could affect team cohesion. You got your stars out constantly. Your team going to underperform. And then, that messes with team chemistry. And then you wonder why sometimes these teams look great and then sometimes they look awful. But they don't care, bro. Some of these dudes are more interested at this point in off the court stuff than on the court. A lot of these dudes are more interested in streaming. A lot of these dudes are more interested in appearing in World Series games and being a celebrity rather than doing their day job. I'll talk about that later on. A lot of these guys are more interested in streaming. Stop wasting our time, man. If you don't want to play basketball, then we'll quit. You earn enough money. If it's killed your spirit, if it's killed your drive, just quit, man. There's always somebody that's hungry and willing to make the most of the opportunity. But I'm glad Michael Jordan's back. I'm glad that he's talking about the things that made our generation great. I'm glad he's talking about bringing back professionalism to the league. And that's all I got to say about it. Tell me what you guys think.